Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Our guest today is Ovie. So, Ovie, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do.
Yes, sir. Ovie Mahaley, former two-time All-Pro fullback for the Atlanta Falcons and Baltimore Ravens. I was blessed to obviously do the football thing for a good little bit, 10 years, but I also was pre-med my whole Wake Forest career. My dad's a doctor. He's an OBGYN. My sister's a doctor. She's a psychiatrist. I was a failure in the doctor space because I didn't go to med school. My dad is a very proud African Nigerian man who was so sure that all four of his kids would go to med school, become doctors like him. He got one. That's better than none. But consolation prize is that I now work in the healthcare space. I work as a healthcare consultant, and we focus on risk management, a lot of group health. We do supplemental benefits. We work on wellness programs, just trying to find ways to assist businesses in recruitment, retention, and revenue. So I do that, and obviously do a lot in the community. Blessed to be a Walter Payton Man of the Year back when I played with the Falcons, and I'm on several boards, including community and schools. I'm hosting their Choose Success big gala we're doing March 27th that really excited about, helping to remove any and all barriers for kids trying to graduate high school. So I'm definitely staying busy. Father of three, Olivia and Nasia Obasi. Olivia is my 16-year-old. Nasia is my 12-year-old, both girls. And God was gracious enough to give me a son. I got my 10-year-old boy who punches me in the stomach every time I walk in the door. That's his way to say hello. So that's fun. So that's a little bit about me, but we can definitely talk about some more as we get into it.
So I'm curious, obviously playing pro sports is, very challenging, but to go from that to kind of what you're doing now, and I guess because you mentioned obviously that your father has that background. So how did you kind of go from being in pro sports to pivoting into this healthcare space?
Well, when I say I grew up in the healthcare space, it was leave practice, go to my mom and dad's office. The nurse, Kathy, love Kathy. Kathy would pick us up from school or pick me up from practice and drop me off at mom and dad's house because no one was at home. My mom and dad worked together, family business. Mom ran the three offices my dad had. She was the head nurse. She was the office manager. She was the accountant. She was the customer service. She was everything. Marketing. My dad always jokes about how he got her for cheap. And so, he couldn't afford her, so he married her. And it's funny. But I used to also, all four of the kids, we were answering phones, cleaning toilets, watching babies in the waiting room so the moms can get checked out. So I really did have an honest desire to work in the healthcare space because if you don't have your health, you have nothing. And I'm blessed. Right now, I have one of the smaller houses in the country club I live in up in North Atlanta, and there's a $3 million house over here and a $5 million house over here, and I'm extremely blessed to live on a golf course, and people are walking their dogs in the morning, not going to work because they've already made their millions and sold their companies. And every single one of these hotshots here would give their whole fortune for good health. Life happens, and somebody passed from cancer a couple of houses down. Somebody got into a car accident, on a wheelchair. We have people who deal with cardiovascular issues. It's just we all don't understand how quickly our health declining can just change the way that we look at life. So if you're able to give somebody the tools, the encouragement, the access, the opportunity to take care of themselves and their loved ones in the realm of health, that's priceless. And so again, being a football player, knee, shoulder, back, I had a time when I got injured and I gained a whole bunch of weight, even post-retirement. I had an injury and I got up to 330 pounds. Right. I couldn't play with my kids. I couldn't go on the trampoline. I couldn't walk the dog. I had pain getting out of bed, and I've done very well financially. I would have given millions just to get back to my glory days. So that's why health is so important to me. And that's why, working in the healthcare space, giving people sometimes and oftentimes we're giving them stuff at zero cost. It's almost here it is. You have no excuses. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your family.
Right. And I think it is a big challenge, right? Especially in America, because I think that so many people kind of overlook basic things like working out or even eating right. So, I mean, obviously, like, being an athlete is something that you've done throughout, your life and career. But I do see many athletes that once they are done playing, that they do gain lots of weight, and then it's hard to kind of maintain that. So, how did you, I mean, how are you able to kind of like, balance that and lose that weight again and be in shape after your career?
Yeah, here's a funny thing. And this is not for everybody, but for me,
Okay.
it took tough love. I had my wife saying, baby, maybe potentially, you should go on a diet, or maybe you should actually stick with this time, or, you don't need to have two entrees and two desserts and two appetizers for every single meal. And she's a sweetheart. And my kids were adorable. And I had some friends that were kind of close to me and said, oh, hey, man, getting big there. What's going on? I was like, I got it. And because you see yourself every single day, you don't see the change as much. When you see one of your friends or group of your friends that haven't seen you for a while, and the change is substantial, they let you know about it. And if they're like my friends slash teammates, they'll let you know about it in some very not nice ways. So I went back to a Baltimore Ravens alumni event. I think it was like my buddy Terrell Suggs was getting put in the Ring of Honor. And so I went back to Baltimore, and I hadn't been back to Baltimore in over a decade. I go to all the Atlanta Falcons because Ravens have game on Sundays, Falcons game on Sundays. I'm going to the Falcons one because I'm right here, and they pay me to shake hands, kiss babies, and so I'm going to that one. And so I just haven't been to Baltimore, but I had to go support my boy Suggs. I got there and not even realizing, because I just lived with it. That was 330 pounds, my friend. And when I tell you that Todd Heap and Vontae Leach and Matt Stover and Ed Reed and all the teammates I had in Baltimore who saw me as a fit, 20-something-year-old, 5% body fat, like I'm just rocked up, and then I'm like this bulbous, lethargic, gosh, can't even pull up pants. It was just bad. So they let me have it, not for one quarter, not for 2 quarters, the whole dang game, like locker room stuff like that. The average person would probably cry and still be crying, have some mental, but they were like knocking just on my hands, put the knocker down, fat behind, fat behind, and the words I can't say right now, because I'm sure it's a children's or family show. But that tough love, after doing that, they're like, hey man, like, hey, we're worried about you. Like people die, heart disease, especially African Americans, especially athletes, at a much
Right.
higher rate.
Right.
Like, take care of yourself. What's wrong with you? You're better than that. And that tough love, and part of it, the anger for me, I came back saying, by any means necessary, I got to find ways to whatever. And I had a little help. I didn't do Ozempic. I did Mounjaro though. That gave me a little push to actually cut out the food noise, because I got the mindset to work out hard and do right. It was just that I needed a little bit of help. So at first I thought I was cheating, but I got on the Mounjaro, and it made my 330 went back to like 245,
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
very, very helpful.
So in terms of your business now, right, your
Yeah,
consulting business, so I'm curious more about that, because you were saying
please.
that, like, essentially that you kind of able to help people with no out-of-pocket costs. So how does that exactly work? And how does somebody sign up or work with you guys?
Yeah, so we're really easy. We have solutions that, end of the day, unfortunately, my friend, people don't want to always know the truth. And it's funny because if you came to me today, you said, hey, Ovie, I can give you the same exact car insurance, same, bells and whistles, but do it at 15 to 20% cheaper. I'm like, let's go, Dan, let's go. You say I can give you the same house insurance, 20% cheaper. I said, what we got to do? But you go to CEOs and you tell them, hey, man, I can give you the same group health policy that you have, 15, 30% cheaper, guaranteed. But all I need you to do is to run me the numbers or give me the information so I can run the numbers and show you. They're like, nah, let me think about it. I don't know. I'm like, are you serious? They're like, well, we have a good relationship with our broker. We're pretty good friends with our insurance company. We've been with them for 10 plus years. And so we're just not in the mood to change. Or come back in Q3 and we'll put a quote out. It's
Right.
insane, because
Right.
the truth of the matter is the insurance industry, and God bless anyone who's working with them right now, but they probably know as well, it's corrupt, dude. It's full of corruption. It's a monopoly. We call them the BUCAs, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, Cigna, Humana. They're great, except for sometimes they're not. They have done such a great job of the corruption that we don't even second guess it. Like the PBMs, the pharmacy benefit managers that are supposed to be regulating the insurance companies, they've now bought them all. Like think like Humana or Cigna owns Optum, and this one owns that one. And they bought them all. They buy the specialty pharmacy. They sometimes buy the doctors. They control the whole system. And the amount of markups that you see on the PBM side are insane. Like you Google like some of the top, billionaires and the companies that have grown the fastest. It's an insurance industry, pharmaceuticals and insurance.
Right.
And we do something really simple. It's crazy. We have our own PBM, our own pharmacy benefit manager, and we're able to we'll rent the networks. We give you the same network like Costco or a wholesaler. We'll give you the same everything, doctors network, but we use a different PBM. And by doing that, and by doing something really special, our CEO is a really solid dude. He's like, I make enough money. He's made a gobs amounts of money. He's like, we don't have to mark up our pharmacy. So we have zero to minimal markup in our pharmacy, which is the largest cost for the group health. And we just want to show you what your same plan looks like without the markup. And if you let us do that, it's not like we think or it might or we hope. 1,000% of the time, we're going to save you 15 to 30% or more. Like the largest we saved a company was like 60%. It was a rural hospital. Saved them 60% on the same plan they were doing. So my whole job is to use a little bit of celebrity I have, a little bit of the business mindset I have, a little bit of the healthcare background I have. And I'm a pretty decent human being. And so I'm good at building relationships and to get them to be willing to do what me and you would do at a heartbeat.
Right.
To let me show them, to prove to them that they're overpaying on their group health. And once we do that, then the fun starts. Then we have, a wellness program that is zero cost to the employee and the employer. We actually pay employees, give them an extra $100 a month just to engage in preventative and predictive, measures. Men do it. Black men do it especially. It's the worst thing you can do. We wait till things are really, really bad till we go see the doctor.
Right.
Because we're lazy and it's not convenient. But to pick up your phone and to be able to have unlimited virtual ER, virtual urgent care, virtual primary care, virtual mental health counseling at the touch of a button for you and your family. And again, zero out-of-pocket costs. We can't say free, but zero out-of-pocket costs. In fact, you're getting incentivized. An extra $100, buy ice cream for your kids, take your wife out on a date, and the company's getting tax savings. That's what we're offering. So my whole role as a consultant is just to have conversations with CEOs that are serious about doing better for their employees and themselves and just show them that nothing I'm bringing costs you a dime. Everything I'm bringing is value and it's going to save and make you money.
For sure. And then in terms of, oftentimes like, lots of health programs are super localized. So do you kind of focus more on Georgia or is it really like anywhere like in the country?
We're around the country. Like, I'm repping my Wake Forest shirt because I just got inducted into the Wake Forest Sports Hall of Fame.
Congratulations.
Huge honor. And, I've been able to engage with so many more Wake Forest CEOs that we have this conversation. They're like, they didn't know. And what I love about, my Wake Forest family is that, they tend to be the CEOs that aren't just about talk because every CEO in the world will say, I want what's best for my employees. I want what's best for my company. I'm going to do what's best. You Google PBM lawsuits, you'll see that several CEOs, several companies have been shown better, but chose to stick with their boy, their wife's cousin, their buddy from high school, from college, because these brokers and insurance agents are making millions. So they do their job and they make sure that they have a tight relationship with their HR people and the CEOs to where they're getting them into college, their kids into college, they're donating to their foundation, they're taking them out to eat all the time, and they should. But they do it to the point to where their CEOs won't even let another quote be taken. Wake Forest, I'm not having that problem. They're all people saying, hey, Ovie, you know what? If we can do better for our employees, it won't hurt us to run the numbers. It takes 15, 20 minutes. So I'm loving the fact that I'm having less resistance as I move forward with just trying to show people, again, the truth. You can stick your head in the sand or you can allow us to show you the truth that you're being overcharged. Every CEO, every company that's dealing with the major monopoly and love them, probably it's people who listen to this who work with them, but it's the truth. Like the CEO of the company that does our group health, Elation Health, he used to manage the largest Blue Cross Blue Shield in the country. And so he knows behind the scenes that they're marking it up at levels that are just obscene, but we've all just accepted it. It is what it is. We'll say we did 3 quotes at the Cigna Humana. We chose the best one, but you're choosing the least worst one because you don't know that there's a company out there that's off the tracks and does things different to where we're not going to do that. And one thing that's very important, we just came out with this first company, in the country that I know that's doing this. We have a zero cost childbirth policy, meaning that we are not, our CEO says it greatly, we're not going to penalize women for bringing life into the world. We're not going to make them go into debt. the 3, 5, 10, 12,000 that it costs. We don't say free, but it's zero cost. They're not paying any out-of-pocket costs. So that's
Right.
something we just rolled out beginning this year, and it is catching like wildfire. I tell people, even if we weren't saving you 15 and 30% on your group health, even if we just offered you this, you would have employees and their families choosing you over there just because, even if they make less money, because this shows that you care about your employees. This shows that you're a different place to work. So that's something that's why I go to sleep every night with a smile, and why I wake up excited to sit in front of this computer and have conversations and go meet people around Atlanta. But we're nationwide.
That's awesome. So in terms of like ideal customers or ideal clients, you could say they're like a certain company size where it makes sense. I'm assuming that maybe companies that are super small might not make
Yeah.
as much sense. I mean, what does that look like in terms of like minimum size?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So any company that's above 100 employees, we can
Okay.
pretty much, excuse me, like guarantee that we're going to save you 10% or more, just because, the fact that we're not marking up our pharmacy is going to be a huge savings. We can even go down to 50 employees or more, but underneath that, it's really hard. The good thing is that the wellness program, whether your employees have insurance or don't have insurance, we can go as low as 20 employees or more. So that's where we're able to help people who have employees making minimum wage at McDonald's or Burger King, and their franchise owners. People are going to work at your McDonald's versus their McDonald's if you're offering an extra $100 for just trying to be healthy and they can't afford health insurance, but you give them a wellness program that allows them to call the doctor whenever they want for them and their kids, unlimited, much less mental health counseling that's zero cost as well. It's a game changer. So it's not insurance, but a wellness program that can at least give you something, and paying you to do it, that's a pretty good gig.
Awesome. So obviously that you, like, as I mentioned earlier, as you said yourself, you played, pro football doing this. So I'm always curious, right? Because you've done lots of things in your life and your career. So if you could share some advice for our listeners, kind of just some things that, you experienced and kind of how you kind of got to this point.
Oh my gosh. I got knocked down so many times. I got put in the corner so many times. I got like, oh my gosh, this is it. I made a mistake that's too big to come back from. Oh my gosh, this is it. I didn't show up for this, or I failed this test, or, because football is really hard. It's not about being good. It's about being good at the right moment. You can be good in practice all day long, but if in games, the lights are too bright and you get, anxious or nervous about the situation, combine, pro day, senior bowl, like, the preseason. If you don't show up, you will never get the opportunity to really show people what you can do. That's in life in general. You got to be good, at the right time. You have to be consistently good. One of the things Hall of Famer Ray Lewis told me is that, excellence is his standard. It's not like, hey, I can be good every now and then. Those who are in the Hall of Fame, it's because they're consistently excellent. So that's, I think, just where we have to have our minds at. Because football and in life, your mindset, as goes the mind, so goes the body. So that mindset, waking up saying, I'm not going to have a good day. I'm going to have a great day. I'm not going to be, second or third best. I'm going to be number one. I want to be mediocre today. Says no one. You'd have to have that. Like, oh, I don't want to be braggadocious. You can stay humble while at the same time being confident. There's no professional athlete who walks out there saying, oh, I hope I do good today, and I hope I, don't mess up. No, you go out there thinking you are the baddest SOB out there. And I tell the kids I talk to, you should all have the attitude. And you're all kings and queens. Like, you're all worthy. You're all that dude or that girl. You walk with that confidence, you'll be surprised how you can do things you never thought you can do. You stay thinking big. You stay thinking like, hey, and I love the Hall of Fame speech. Alfonso Smith led the nation in interceptions, a Wake Forest guy. Led the nation, Alabama, whatever. He was like, I expected to be here. In his Hall of Fame speech, he's like, I expected to be here because when I came to Wake Forest, I said I wanted to be the best player in the history of the game. What if we all had that mentality? What if we all woke up? And guess what? He wasn't anything. He hadn't played a snap yet, but he already had that mentality. And so I always tell people, children, adults, whoever, have that mentality of greatness. Have that mentality of, I want to be the best, always the best. Even before you're not, it's a little fake it till you make it. But
Right.
by those who push themselves like that, even if you fall a little bit short, guess what? It's way farther than where you would have been if you wanted to be mediocre.
Right. Exactly. That's really good advice. So if somebody watching this wanted to reach out to you or to work with your company, what's the best way for somebody to get in contact?
Absolutely. It's Ovie at ono-consulting.com. OVIE at ono-consulting.com. You can go there or go to my website, onoconsulting.com. ONO dash, the dash mess people up. ONO-consulting.com. You can see a little bit about what we do, how we help. But yeah, you can email me And you know what? I just got me a business number too. What is my business number? I'll get it to you later because I am doing not a great job of tracking all my phones and texts. So I got me a business number, and my assistant helps me manage it to make sure I respond to everybody. I'll
Awesome.
get that to you later. But it's been a pleasure, man. Really sharing my story and sharing how to help people. And I always tell people that there's two things. You can either say you're going to do a lot of great things in the world, or you can actually do them. Talk is cheap in the NFL or in life or in business. I want to work with individuals. I want to work with business CEOs that aren't about all that talk, but are about the action, especially since the action doesn't cost a dime. It's zero out
Exactly.
of pocket. We're either saving you money on the group health, making you money with the wellness program, or finding ways to add to the value that you bring to you and your employees. And so it always baffles me when people will say all this stuff on their website and in person. I meet them or on TV, but in person, I'm like, hey, we can do amazing things for you. They're like, nah, we're good. So, people are different. And so I want to work with the ones who are really trying to make the world a better place because that's what I'm here for.
Awesome. Well, Ovi, thanks so much for your time today.
All right. Thank you, sir.